In this video, we're going to show you how to do test plate fitting. In other words, using test glasses, which is an older term for it. This is a method that's used in fabrication shops to easily test for the curvature or radius of curvature of a part that they want to make by fitting it to a pre-made metal plate and using Newton fringes or a method like that. Not all shops do this, but this is an important thing to know how to do in OSLO. It's a very cost-effective, efficient way to do this kind of process in a fabrication shop, and it is still most certainly used. So let's go to OSLO, and to do this, we're going to have to first set a preference, and then we're going to have to do the actual test plate fitting. So let's just show from the help page how to find this. This is called by a historical term of test glass, so some users have found it difficult to find, but test glass will definitely get you there. So if we type in test glass, and I hit F1 to pull our help up. Now I go to test glass analysis here. And what this actually gets us to is down here at the bottom is test glass fitting. This describes what we need to do, the process of clicking mouse buttons, how to accept, what you'll see after you do it, ways to go through a list of possible test glass radii, and also how to set the preference. Okay, so that's great. Let's actually also now talk about when you set the preference, it's going to want to pull up a specific set of information of where it wants to pull up a specific set that comes from a very certain location that we have, and that location is under bin LMO. Any of these files that have a TGL will actually be test glass files, and what you're actually going to want to do is you're going to want to include any test glass data that you may have from your fabricators. By the way, we're more than happy to accept or work with any fabricator on getting their test glasses into OSLO, so certainly you can send them to us or have us contact them as well. And so here we have these lists, and any of these that say .tgl are files that actually have test glasses in them. If you were to open up one of these in a text editor, there's usually a header for who the fabricator is, and then a list of numbers with one number on each line. So here, this is a list in millimeters of the different test plates that they actually have in their shop. When they don't have one and you want to fit to one, sometimes they will make an offer that they will make that test plate to make your part, and that usually would happen if they don't have enough test plates, or your system's really sensitive to that specific set of test plates that they have in doing this fitting process. So that is how to actually get the data into OSLO. Really easy, straightforward to use. Now the actual process of doing this in OSLO feels a little Byzantine when you haven't done it, but once you know how to do this, it's very straightforward. So the preference we need to set for which test glass list we want to use is STP and it's TGLF. So if we were to type in STP TGLF, that would actually give us what our current string is, and by the way, our current file is. One thing with this is we ship from the factory with nothing specified for this, so the first time you have to specify something. I'm going to hit escape and show another way to do this. So we can go to the preferences, and you can just go to set preference, and then if we scroll down or get down to test glass file, it'll do the same thing. This is our current one. So if I want to change to another one, so I'm just going to go ahead and change to another fabricator here. You don't have to type in the TGL, it just knows to do that. And you can see now we've switched this to a different database. Because this is a preference, it will apply to any file that we open. So you should just know about this to change this and be careful about it when you do it. Now let's go to this specific radii, and I want to fit this to a test plate very carefully. Mouse button 1 is the left click on your mouse, and if you hold shift down and double click on this, it will go to a test plate. Now I could hit the green check mark or enter, it would accept. I could hit escape and X and it will get out of it. But another thing you can do is you can use the up arrow. So I'm clicking on the up arrow and down arrow, and this is just going through the list of the adjacent numbers in that file. So even though it'll pick the closest one, you can easily move it around to another value. If I want to accept this value, I go ahead and hit OK. And now it has a T here. Now, one of the problems with this is a test plated glass now to a specific fabricator, but we really haven't documented inside of the file where to do this. So you could use this under system notes if you'd so choose. This specific file, this doublet, has some other information here. If you don't want to use that though, you can also put it under the surface note. So we could put under a surface note, and you could say for here test plate, and then our fabricator that we chose, and now it's documented so that when we have a look at lens data, it actually says where it was test plated. So you can see it's straightforward to do this, but you do have to know a couple of things: where to look it up with test glass, make sure you set the preference, and then this kind of Byzantine process of double clicking while you're holding shift under the radius cell, and then knowing that the number that you're seeing there, you can scroll up and down through the different radii. So there's a number of things to know, but once you see how to do this and do it a few times, it's really straightforward.